treated well. But it was always about, Michael, how many people can you bring? Are you going to do it again? Well, our teams have done over 1.5 billion thanks to all of you. It's about the team. This is not golf or tennis. Without a team, you can't be a leader. You can't go to the top. There's no PD here that didn't have a team. This is all to you. So I was thinking, I had the privilege at a very, very low time in my life. I say in my podcast, it was so low I could play handball against the curb. And I was setting up a fly-in to meet Mr. David. I knew about Lifeway. And Peter and I went there, and we had some massive leaders fly in and met at the office in San Diego, my first time there. And I stayed over another day, and glad I did. And me and David conversed. He said, let's meet for lunch the next day. And we did. I was so inflamed. I was so not feeling good is an understatement. The amount of the fluid, the amount of the problem that I've had, inflammation was at an all-time high. It was painful just to walk to meet him to the restaurant from the Uber. But when I got there was something different about this conversation with an owner. It wasn't about, can you do it again? How much volume are you going to do for us? He knew I was in a bad place. And he said, let's get you well. I believe our products can do that. Different conversation for me. I remember looking at David and said, David, I will. And I'll take this team and we'll create one of the biggest teams in Lifeway. And I give glory to God because I'm just a man. He is the King of Kings. So I want all of you that are new, doesn't matter, to experience what I experienced, to get to know the man that is changing the evolution of health, his iconic products, the landscape that he's creating for all of us, the human body technology, I call it. No different than what Tesla and Elon Musk are doing for automotive and rockets. He's doing for the body. X39 giving my life back. X49 giving my body back. And today, Jason, share your vision. Talk about the new X49. And this team loves you all the way to the top, Mr. David Schmidt, our founder and CEO.
Thank you, Michael. That was quite an introduction. And it's really a pleasure to be on with you and Jason today. Always happy to support the two of you and your team. And, just to clarify something, when I invent and develop products, it's always through prayer. And so I tend to think of the patches as my kids, but they're created with let's say divinely inspired information, and with information that is consistent with the laws of nature, so they never cause harm. So I always want to give credit where credit is due. But I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today and to have the time with you and your team, and to talk about the work that we've been doing in stem cells over the past 12 years now, research that we've been doing, and of course how that led to X39 and X49. Our landmark of success is always going to be in the lives that we improve. And today, we're very much a global business. Our sales, thanks to our amazing leadership and our community, is over 10 times higher than it was in 2018 when we released X39. And in fact, sales in November were higher than the entire year of 2018. So that's really extraordinary. That really doesn't happen without tremendous leadership and an amazing community that's been bringing our products globally. So my thanks and appreciation to everything that all of you are doing to spread the word about LifeWave. So why don't we go ahead? PowerPoint that we can go through. If that's okay with you, Michael, and you, Jason, where we can talk a little bit about X39 and X49.
You're the boss, Mr. David. You take it away.
All right, we'll do that. We'll do that. So we'll go through this and hit some of the highlights so we can keep this interesting. But it's probably important for those of you that are new on the call to get an idea of where did we come from. We've been around since 2004 as a network marketing company. My background has been in developing medical devices and new technology. We've been very fortunate over the past 20 years. I have now over 130 patents, so I'm very grateful that I've had the opportunity through this company to devote a significant amount of time to research and explore things that can improve quality of life. We devoted, like I said, over 10 years into stem cell research, which culminated in the release of X39 back in 2018. And of course, this product has some very dramatic benefits. It activates stem cells, it resets cells to a younger, healthier state. So this will support overall wound healing. Of course, one of the things that stem cells do is that they increase collagen production. So we see this effect called youth renewal, where as people use the product over a period of 1 to 3 months, they notice that their skin has less lines and wrinkles. It's a reduction in the appearance of lines and wrinkles, skin tightening, overall health and appearance of the skin improves, skin tone will improve. And of course, because we're resetting cells to a younger and healthier state, this is going to mean that people have more energy, less inflammation, and the sleep quality even improves. So those are some of the things that we've just done with X39. So as we have looked at how to expand our product line, it's really all been about the next 3 to 5 years of introducing new stem cell products, continuing to expand the tools that people have in supporting health and regeneration of the body. All of these products are completely unique. We develop them here in our laboratories. We patent them, so they're exclusive to LifeWave. And this is a way that we can continue to refresh and build our business opportunity globally. And the ultimate goal that we have is age reversal. So for those of you that attended our convention, whether or not it was live or online, the one that we just had in Orlando, I went into a significant amount of detail on new technology that we've developed that is leading us to reversing the human aging process. So that to me is really exciting that we're going to get there. And of course, LifeWave as a company, we want to make this the best opportunity possible for our members. We want to give our members the best experience using our website and our tools and back office. And again, make this the best opportunity possible. So let's get into the technology in a little bit more detail. And for those of you that are already familiar with X39, we're going to be focusing on this call on X49. So as we finish out this year, it's with over 130 patents. And so that will tell you that we're very serious about investing money into research and developing new technology that we can release. Again, at the November convention, we showed off some of the new technology that we've been using to create new and novel phytoplankton. So this is something that we will release in the future as a health supplement. And we're going to be using this technology that you see in this picture to grow the phytoplankton in a completely clean environment in a what's called a photobioreactor. That allows us to cultivate the phytoplankton with this technology. And the phytoplankton will have some benefits that you can't find with an off-the-shelf product today, but let's just say that it will support the process of health and regeneration. The other advantage and the other reason why we want to grow phytoplankton is that phytoplankton produces 80% of the world's oxygen, and it consumes CO2 as a food. So by growing phytoplankton in very, very large amounts, it contributes to a reduction in global warming. And right now we're in talks with 2 different governments around the world about building facilities offshore in the ocean where we can grow phytoplankton in very, very large volume so we can develop a food supply for fish and increase the amount of fish for food for people, but primarily to reduce the acidity of the ocean and remove carbon dioxide and put oxygen back into the atmosphere. So that's going to be an example of new technology that's coming to life maybe in the coming years. So obviously a big part of our research is in stem cells, regeneration, and age reversal. And we've made some advancements in our research since 2018 that I think are really, really impressive. So the question is, if we already have a stem cell product and we can support wound healing, we can support regeneration, help people sleep better, help relieve pain, and contribute to injury repair, where do we go from here? Well, when we look at our industry or the health industry as a whole, we can see, just looking back in 2020, that the amount of money people are spending just in the United States on health and fitness is massive, right? Over $33 billion in 2021. When we look at supplements, we can see that the number is far higher globally, over 150 billion. So question is, with this amount of money, $180 billion being spent on supplements, gyms, fitness equipment, what is it really that people are trying to achieve? Well, most people want to have more muscle, less body fat, right? They want to reshape their body. As people get over the age of 50 and 60, sarcopenia starts to become evident, meaning age-related sarcopenia is a gradual loss of muscle mass after the age of 30. So by the time someone is age 70, there could be a 30 or 35% decrease in the total amount of lean muscle in the body. And of course, this leads to a decrease in not only strength and stamina, but a decrease in bone density and overall health. So this is a very significant problem, and most people are turning towards exercise and various supplements to try to reverse this process. So what do we do? You could really just summarize this, that what people would like is to be younger, right? Most people would like to be able to recapture the strength, stamina, and the body that they had when they were younger. And of course, if we could do that, this would be an important step in age reversal. In other words, if people were getting to the age of 70 and 80 and still being physically fit, then this would be transformative, not only for their lives, but also, of course, for their lives of their family. So can we use stem cell technology to regenerate muscle and improve strength, stamina, and bone density? And it turns out the answer to this is yes. And this is what X49 is all about. Our next step towards reversing human aging by allowing people to recapture the strength, stamina, and eventually the bone density that they had when they were younger. So let's dig into some of the details on this. Obviously, if X49 is a stem cell product, what makes it different than X39? Not only that, because they're both stem cell products and they work differently, most people are going to want to use both products together. So the question is, why would the two of them actually be the perfect companion? As it turns out, this question is very easy to answer because X39 elevates a copper peptide called GHK. And GHK, which is a copper binding peptide, is composed of the amino acids glycine, histidine, and lysine. And X49 elevates AHK, which is alanine, histidine, and lysine. So the two of them are related. You can think of X39 as being the mother peptide and X49 AHK as being the daughter peptide. So the two of them are related and they work together. So with GHK, we know from research that levels, first of all, GHK is naturally found in the human body and it declines with age. So by the time we get to age 60, levels of copper peptide have declined by over 60%. AHK is very similar in the sense that this is something that is natural, that occurs in your body, but declines with age. So we're not trying to put a synthetic drug or a synthetic peptide into the body. What we're simply going to do is use light to stimulate the body to elevate its own production of AHK. So we'll get into a little bit more detail about how we do that with our technology. But keep in mind that both of these peptides that are produced by X39 and X49 are naturally found in the human body. They decline with age, and we have a new technology to help restore both of these peptides back to young, healthy levels so you can recapture what you had in your youth. One example is that X49 is going to be especially good for cardiovascular health. It was found in early research with the discovery of this peptide that it elevates production of a growth factor called VEGF, and VEGF will regenerate the endothelial lining in the blood vessels. So we see improvements in the health of the heart. Now, interestingly enough, GHK and AHK, they've actually been known for years. Dr. Lauren Picard had discovered GHK back almost 50 years ago. The problem, though, is neither of these peptides were ever approved by the FDA because they, for a variety of reasons, if you take a supplement of GHK or AHK, it's slightly toxic to the stomach. And really the only way of elevating this peptide before our technology was with injection. And most people are not going to want to give themselves injections daily. And then also that becomes quite expensive. Now, one of the claims that we don't make about AHK, if you're going to look at researching it on the internet, you're going to see that one of the early uses was both in skincare and for hair growth. Growing hair is a medical claim. So we do not make the claim that X49 induces hair growth. So I just want to be clear about that. What we've also seen in our research, which I'll talk about in a little bit, is that to get the best results with X49, you should have a diet that contains alanine. Now, alanine is found in dairy products, chicken, fish, red meat. And so for people that are vegans, we encourage them to take an alanine supplement or include foods that are rich in alanine in their diet. But alanine supplements are inexpensive, and then you'll have the raw materials necessary to make AHKCU. So there's some unique benefits to AHK versus GHK. So we did clinical studies to look at just using X39 on its own versus using X39 and X49 together. So we have about 9 clinical studies on X49 at this point. One of the real downsides of COVID was that it slowed down our ability to do clinical research. So we had to do a lot of research in-house during the pandemic because the clinics that we were working with, the third-party clinics we were working with, had to shut down during COVID. And then even when they reopened, getting people to participate in clinical studies proved challenging. So this has been a couple of years for us to bring this to market now, but we're delighted that we're able to catch up on this. But there's some ongoing clinical studies with X49 that are really exciting. My first interest in this is that if you look at the literature, the metabolism of the amino acid alanine is associated with tissue repair in the brain and also management of inflammation. So my personal view on this, and this is an opinion, is that ultimately an effective treatment and preventative for Alzheimer's disease and ALS is going to be found through metabolism of alanine. And again, I'm not making a claim about X49. This was just an observation in research several years ago that led me down this road to looking at peptides to affect the metabolism of alanine. So like with all of our patch products, first thing that we want to do is see, does it work as designed? So we did a number of studies now, 3 different clinical studies using blood draws, and where we measure levels of AHK before and after patch use. And indeed, what we find is that using X49 elevates the peptide AHKCU. We did see a trend with vegans and vegetarians that either they didn't produce enough AHKCU or the increases were much smaller as compared to people that were not vegans or vegetarians. So that's something that we've looked at in our studies that we follow. So people that participate in our studies, they keep a diary of what they eat, and then statistically we can see do any results show up. And indeed, people that have diets low in alanine and lysine have difficulty, making AHK. So again, we recommend if someone's a vegan or a vegetarian, go on a supplement of alanine, and even more preferably alanine and lysine. We did also see something very interesting. One of the PhDs that we work with is Caitlin Connor. Dr. Caitlin Connor is a graduate of Oxford, and she was 1 out of 10 people selected from a group of 20,000 people that was admitted into a research program that they had at Oxford. And so we've been working with her and her mother, Dr. Melinda Connor, now for the past few years. And one of the things that Dr. Caitlin Connor found was that AHK could affect the chemistry of bone health and trigger osteogenesis. And this was not something that was found in the literature, so it would actually be an entirely new application for AHKCU. So we did some initial studies, and we're not ready to make the claim yet, but it does appear, in fact, that with continued use of X49, it leads to increases in bone health. Now, there's a lot of factors here. So let's say, for example, you're a woman and you are concerned about normal age-related loss in bone density. Some of the foundational things you'd want to have is a good calcium supplement, balance that with magnesium. have vitamin D and vitamin K to aid with the absorption. Of course, I'm not a medical doctor, so you'd have to take those recommendations to your healthcare practitioner and see if that's right for you. So under those circumstances, if you had a diet rich in calcium, vitamin D, vitamin K, and you wanted to do something else to support your bone health, and your doctor said it was okay, X49 could be an option. So we're continuing to research this and look at it. So with that said, what kind of benefits do we know X49 produces? Well, the first thing, and probably the most significant, is that people that use X49 build muscle strength and stamina very quickly without the need for any type of anabolic drug. I'm not saying that this compares to an anabolic drug or testosterone supplementation, but this is a non-drug way to build strength, stamina, and lean muscle very, very quickly. And of course, what comes with that is recapturing strength and stamina that was lost to time. One of the things that we saw in our study, and I'll show you some of these results, is that even people in their 70s were able to more than double their strength and stamina after 2 months of use of X49. So that's really exciting. We also saw that results were occurring the very first week. So like X39, where people start to notice, hey, I'm sleeping better, I've got better energy, an old injury is starting to heal, I have less inflammation. In a very similar way, when people are exercising and using X49, they're noticing that they're getting improvements the very first week of use. We're also showing pretty dramatically that there is a very beneficial positive effect on the cardiovascular system. So let's take a look at one of the studies that we did, and this was over a period of 2 months. And just using X49 by itself, the number of sit-ups that people could do after 2 months increased by over 70%. And bear in mind, people in this study were over the age of 50, with a large number of people in their 60s and 70s. Number of push-ups, over 80% improvement in 2 months. Number of squats, over 47% increase. The strength of a bicep curl increased by over 100% in only 2 months. And grip strength, we measure this with a hand dynamometer, about a 75%, almost a 75% increase in 2 months. So that's a pretty dramatic improvement in health and fitness in a very, very short period of time. But then, of course, in our study, we have a group that's using both X39 and X49 because we know that people will want to combine them. So what happens there? Well, one of the things that we did in the study is we put people on an exercise bike and measured a number of different parameters. So going on an exercise bike, calories burned with the combination increased over 90%. Still get a great improvement, over 70% improvement with just X49, but over a 90% improvement when you combine the two. Top speed increasing over 27%. How far you can go on the bike increased over 65%. So when we're looking at maximum. And here's where the improvements in cardiovascular health start to show up. A decrease in pulse rate. And we're going to show also an improvement in blood pressure. So what's interesting about this is that X39 and X49 both activate stem cells, but they're doing it in a very, very different way. And the two products are improving health, but through different biochemical pathways. One really significant thing about X49 is that it's not a fat burner, yet people are losing body fat with X49. So that's exciting. So we're going to show some scans that we did. We have a technology that we used that some of you are going to be familiar with to show how the shape of the body actually changes in as little as 2 months using X49. So here's a gentleman that's 74, and you can take a look that his body fat percentage is 37%, so not very healthy. And this is an actual scan from the equipment that we're using. And I want you to take a look here at his health risk, which is 53% higher than ideal. And this is because of his body composition. So if we can increase lean muscle and decrease body fat, we can improve his overall health. And that's one of the things that this equipment picks up. So as we see after 2 months, what happens is his body fat percentage goes down and his health risk goes down from 53% to 20%. That's astounding. That's an astounding improvement in only 2 months. Let's take a look at this side by side so you can see the change in the body shape. And then let's look at it before and after. So here's the before, and there's the after. It's a very significant change. So, if you're on today and you're thinking, well, I'm in my 60s or in my 70s, is it, too late for me? That's what's so exciting about this, is because these products are helping to reset the cells to a younger, healthier state. So as long as you're creating your foundation, and if you can't do this yourself, please speak with a healthcare practitioner that can help guide you in proper diet, proper supplementation, making sure you're getting at least 7-8 hours of sleep each day, drinking enough water, and so forth, and getting enough exercise, of course. So you create your foundation, and as long as you have enough essential fatty acids in your diet, you have enough protein, you're hydrating properly, doesn't matter. This study shows that even if you're in your 70s or even above, you can still recapture strength and stamina. So that's really exciting about this technology. Of course, we're also hoping that we are going to prove that this increases bone density. We've got some initial indicators that it does. Just want to collect a little bit more clinical data. One of the really interesting things about this, I personally love to exercise. I'm 58 and I can outperform where I was in my 20s. So I love these products. They've had a dramatic benefit for myself. And one thing that you're going to notice is that you recover much more quickly than you would without these products. This is going to show up that you're not as sore as you might be without using X49. So that's a huge benefit. So we spoke a little bit earlier about how this supports the health and function of the heart. This is some of the data that we captured. Whereas the products are being used synergistically. We had found in our initial tests with X39 that if people had high blood pressure, it would reduce their blood pressure going towards normal range. So this was important that we would look at both X49 separately and X39 and X49 together. And as you can see, the combination of the two, we hit statistical significance at reducing blood pressure. So that's really exciting. It doesn't mean, by the way, that if you have low blood pressure, it is going to decrease blood pressure further. What we think is happening is that because X49 has an effect of supporting the repair of the endothelial lining. The endothelial lining is where the body makes nitric oxide. So we get an increase in nitric oxide that causes vasodilation, and this reduces blood pressure. So that's a hypothesis at this point. But statistically speaking, we have seen decreases in high blood pressure. So that's really exciting. We're also doing some studies now. We're doing one with a functional MRI where we are looking at how X49 and X39 improve the function of the brain over time. We had done a clinical study with Dr. Gaetan Chevalier on X39. So we know X39 activates the stem cells in the brain. As a result, we get an increase in GABA, in BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and this causes activation of stem cells. So as a result, we see that people that are using X39 for 3 to 6 weeks, they get significant improvement in overall cognitive function. So their memory improves, even the speed at which their brain will process information improves with X39. So we're seeing similar things with X49, but through a different pathway. We're still studying what the synergy is between the two, but we see each product independently will improve cognitive function. So this is, of course, very, very important. Again, when we look at people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, not only do we want people to have recapture the muscle strength and stamina they lost, but of course, we want people to recapture cognitive abilities. So these products are supporting that as well. There's a really interesting phenomenon that we are exploring with X49. We're not ready to make the claim, but we have some initial evidence that X49 can reduce the impact of 5G, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi on the brain. So stepping back from this just for a moment, we know that cell phone radiation can cause tissue heating in the brain. So this has been very, very well established now for at least 10 years. If you're interested in looking at this work, you can look at University of Colorado School of Medicine, and they published a number of studies using this technology, medical infrared imaging or infrared imaging, to look at tissue heating by cell phones. So we know this phenomena occurs. So the problem is, because Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and now 4G and 5G are ubiquitous, they're everywhere, it's not good enough to just put something on your phone to block the radiation. You know, we are in this soup of synthetic man-made radiation. So what can we do? Well, both X39 and X49 bind to copper. And there's something called a Faraday cage. Faraday cage is made of copper screen that's grounded, and as a result, this will prevent electromagnetic radiation from getting inside or past a Faraday cage. Well, the hypothesis that I had was, if we could elevate peptides that bind with copper, we might be able to form a biological Faraday cage and reduce the impact of cell phone radiation on the body. This is part of the miracle of God's creation. The miracle of our bodies is that they can adapt, and we have mechanisms, things that are completely natural, whether or not, you know, we're talking about new viruses, attacks on the immune system, or on our health. The human body was created to adapt to these challenges. So it appears that by elevating peptides that we have in our body when we're younger, by elevating these peptides and linking them with copper, we can form a biological Faraday cage and reduce the impact of this man-made radiation on the body. So that's something that we're exploring. So in summary, the goal of X49 was to take the success of X39 and build on our stem cell line, build on the benefits, and offer a stem cell product that had benefits other than what you could get with X39, and of course, continue to take a step towards age reversal. And in the process, we would be able to reach new markets, with X49 and continue to expand our business opportunity for our members. So, Michael and Jason, I'd be delighted to take any questions that either of you have or any of our members have.
David, this is next level, folks. And listen to my words. Give the gift that keeps on giving. The bundle pack is out. Go get it. Who wants to experience the power of the patch? This is insane. This is Tony Stark. He ought to be a Marvel superhero, in my opinion. And I want to give it up to Jason Borrego, Tammy Holyfield, Steve Bailey for helping make this possible, Jason.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you, David. We do have a couple questions. I believe, Steve Bailey, you had a couple questions, and Dr. Ralph. Steve Bailey's doing a fantastic job helping this, and Tammy, we are learning Zoom on the fly here. So, David, thank you very much, and I do like all your superheroes in the background right there.
Where's your Jason? Where is your Captain America?
Yeah, Captain America right here.
I knew I liked you from day one when I said, I'm going to get along with this guy. This is my type of guy.
I'm the new gladiator.
Oh, fantastic. Dr. Ralph, did you have a couple of questions? And maybe, Tammy, if you want to manage the chat, David, I'm not sure how much time you have. Again, we don't make
I blocked an hour. I'm good, Jason. I blocked an hour. So
You've got an hour. So we got about 15 minutes. So, team, why don't we do this? If you have some questions, we're going to put them in the chat. Tammy's going to monitor that. Dr. Ralph, I'm going to turn it over to you right now, my friend.
Hey, Jason, can you hear me okay?
I sure can.
Right on. Really don't have a question. Just want to make a comment. I had the opportunity to get the X49 before conference, and, I can definitely tell my energy on a daily basis with X39, adding X49 exponentially went up. And, that was pretty significant. I mean, I'm pretty active in the office, see a lot of patients, and, I could tell that 3:30 in the afternoon lull is no longer there. And as that over 50 generation now, that's a pleasant happening. And I'm really, really impressed with the technology. Was really over the top conference. David, your team did an amazing job, and your customer service people continue to do just a bang up job there in helping us out in the field. So I wanted to personally thank you so much for everything you're putting together, all of your dedication, all of the science. I love reading the white papers. I love watching you present, and, it just blows me away every single day. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. That's so kind of you. I really appreciate that.
All right, fantastic. One of the questions we have is for people using chemo. Can they use the X39 and can they use the X49? I know that's always a sensitive question that people have, but if you could help answer that question, David.
Yeah, I'll try to keep this brief. So again, I'm not a medical doctor, and any recommendations I make, a person that's going through chemo should speak with their medical doctor. First thing is, we've never done a clinical study on the use of X39 or X49 on anyone that's undergoing chemotherapy or anyone that's going through cancer. So what I would do is, if someone was interested in using X39 or the combination, go to your doctor and say, hey, these are products. They don't put anything into the body. They stimulate the body with light, and they cause an increase in this peptides. Can I use them? All right, that would be the best thing. Let the doctor make the decision. Secondly, I would encourage anyone that has cancer to seek some natural alternatives as a foundation. So speak with a medical doctor that believes in the use of ozone therapy, DMSO, curcumin, creating a nutritional program, ketogenic diets, get a comprehensive program to support, if you're going through chemo, to support that, because those will dramatically improve your odds of success.
Okay, fantastic. I think I did a great job on that. Just on placement, a lot of questions on using both of the products at the same time. Your suggestions on that, please.
Yeah, generally speaking, a good placement is X39 behind the neck. I got a praying mantis there. X39 behind the neck, and X49 below the belly button would be a good placement to start with.
Okay.
David, we
Go
also
ahead, Ken.
have, yeah, we also have a question. How is it affecting children with autism and epilepsy? Is there benefits?
Okay, so those are interesting questions. Again, I would say LifeWave does not make any medical claims. So if someone, obviously epilepsy is extraordinarily serious. So if someone was interested, I'll take that one first because it's rather easy. If someone was interested in using X39 or X49 for that, they should speak with their doctor. Really good positive thing is that it's very well known that the ketogenic diet is a cure for epilepsy. And we know the reason as to why ketones, how they affect the brain. So in theory, if people were to use a product like X39 and Eon, which are known to sedate and relax the nervous system, it may have an effect on someone with epilepsy, but we've never performed that study. So in other words, if I was going to do a research study, my first choice might be X39 and Eon, although, yeah, for a lot of reasons, you can make a claim with X49 as well. But that's currently unknown. So if someone has epilepsy, I definitely recommend a ketogenic diet. That's obviously, a lifestyle choice, but that's well known as a treatment. And again, I'd ask their doctor if X39 and Eon would be safe. With regards to autism, I did have an opportunity to meet with the authority, a medical doctor who's the authority on autism years ago in Italy, and we had talked about doing a clinical study together. And so we do have some information on that. And then, I want to just be careful about the way how I say this. I would say that if an individual is interested in this, they should speak with their doctor about having their child get regular IVs of glutathione, go on a dietary program that is known to support the overall health of people with autism. And parents have used products like X39, Eon, and glutathione, and they found that it helps to relax children with autism. I think that would be the extent of any claims that I would make.
Thank you so much.
Placement becomes important, right? So people have put the energy patches on the bottom of the feet, and the kids do pretty well with that. And they can put X39 either on the back of the neck. Eon can be used either during the day at night at the base of the spine, and the kids don't really know that it's there, and they get the benefit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
David, Steve Bailey here. We want to again thank you for being here today with this entire amazing team. And the question would be more as, who is your favorite superhero?
Well, it's clearly Iron Man. I have been a fan of Iron Man since I was 7 or 8 years old when I started reading those comic books, and it hasn't stopped. And yeah, I tend to identify with Tony Stark as a inventor, and so I keep Iron Man figures around me all the time to inspire me and think out of the box. But ultimately, I give thanks to God because all of anything that I've ever invented has always come through prayer and what I would call these divine downloads. And I just want to give credit to God for giving me the information so I can go and help people. And that's all I really want to do.
Amen. Amen. On a more serious question, 2022 is just coming up here with this group that's on and a call to action. What would you say if you're looking at the business here for the first time? What would you say, hey, I'd really like if you guys helped us do this? What would that be? You know what I mean? In your opinion, with all the masses of people we have on here.
Yeah. So let's say that someone is new, they're on this call, they're evaluating the company. The first thing is try the products, right? Look at the research that we've done. We have everything that we've talked about today there are clinical studies, over 80 clinical studies. So when we make a claim about what our products do, how our products work, there is a clinical study to back those statements up. So you can have confidence in knowing that we are a research-based company. Second thing is take a look at the patents that we have, over 130 patents globally. So what we do, if someone is interested in coming on as a customer to use the products, obviously that's fantastic. And look at the research that we've done, try the products, give them a month, enjoy the benefits, and then make a decision what you'd like to do. For people that are coming on board as a distributor, take a look at all the resources that we have to help support in the business building. Of course, talk to people that have been in the company and have been building their business. And one of the things that we do, of course, is protect our products with patents, and we make them exclusive to LifeWave, so there's no competition. We also, of course, have a global network. We have our offices here in the United States, in San Diego and in Utah. We have our own manufacturing plants in the United States and in Ireland. And of course, we have offices all over the world. So if you want to be building here in the US or in Europe, we have offices, brand new office in Tokyo, in the Philippines, in Malaysia, new in Taiwan, where we've been for many years, new office coming to Thailand, and new offices coming in 2022. Regardless of where you want to build, we will be able to meet that opportunity. So it's a complete package.
Fantastic.
All right, Steve, since somebody's going crazy in our chat, we're going to wrap up this call. David Schmidt, thank you very much. Everyone, thank you. Steve, Michael, David Jumper, Robin, and Gregory for making all of this happen and pulling this together. David, we're honored to be part of this amazing company and this amazing product and changing lives across the world. And the great news, everybody, we have just started making things happen. It's going to be an amazing 2022. David, thank you very much for your time, energy, and all that you do. And we give God all the glory and all the credit.
No
Thank you, my
haters.
good man.
No haters can stop this. It's too good. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you,
Thank you,
David.
Jason.
All right, you guys can
Thank you,
all
everybody.
and say
Thank you.
goodbye. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, David. Bye, David. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
We didn't do anything.